Hey, what's going on? This is Dams It All, the show about the USACE mission and how it affects our lives. In this episode, it's drawdown season, and that means some of our reservoirs in the Willamette Valley are going to look drastically different than we're used to. I got an expert on the subject of drawdowns to talk with us, and that's coming up here in just a bit. But first, two of the women in my life just got new jobs. My oldest daughter, Callie, just got a job as a barista, and it is hilarious to listen to her talk about work. Waking up early, surviving that morning rush, getting someone to cover your shift. It's like she's a tiny little adult now. So fun. And while it's exciting to see her enter this next phase of her life, it's also a little sad too. Once you start working, you never really stop, not until you're like 60. You finally understand that adulthood is inevitable. And that lack of responsibility and carefree lifestyle that saturates and defines our childhood is gone forever. And Heidi, my wife Heidi, got a new job that involves riding dirt bikes. Yeah, on the clock. She just started her new gig as a grant administrator for the Off-Highway Vehicle Division of California State Parks. It's her job to help organizations with state funding so they can keep up our parks. They can take care of facilities, they can do trail maintenance, and she gets to cover parks across the state, which is pretty amazing. And to make sure that they're using the taxpayer dollars appropriately, she has to go check out the park on her work motorbike. And between getting this job and landing me, she might be the luckiest girl I know. Well, it's fall, and that means a few reservoirs in the Willamette Valley will soon look like rivers. Well, kinda. They're called deep drawdowns, and we do them for the health of fish on the endangered species list. And taking a lake from almost full in the summertime to almost empty in the winter, well, it affects a lot more than fish. And that's why I got our resident expert on the line, Kathryn Tackley, to help explain the situation to us. Hey, Kathryn, thanks for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do for USACE?
My name is Kathryn Tackley. I've worked for the Corps since I was 18 years old, believe it or not.
Wow, since you were 18 years old?
So just a few years.
Well, what kind of stuff are you working on at this point in your career?
I coordinate everything going on in the Willamette Basin. Prior to that, I was the water quality expert for the Portland district.
We're here to talk about the deep drawdowns going on at some of the Willamette Valley reservoirs, but this isn't the first time this has happened. So can you tell me about when this all started?
Yeah, sure. The first true drawdown of a reservoir occurred at Fall Creek Reservoir in 2011. And then in 2012, we started drawing down cougar. More recently, and the ones that have gained more attention are the drawdowns at Lookout Point and Green Peter. Those were initially implemented when we were under a court injunction, and then are continuing as an interim operation now that the injunction has been lifted.
Yeah, and we started doing these drawdowns to help the fish on the endangered species list. So can you tell me how draining our reservoirs actually helps the fish?
The fish that we're trying to pass downstream have a hard time finding their way through the reservoir and past our dams when our reservoirs are low. There's not a surface outlet available for fish to pass. So fish hesitate to dive deep down into the reservoir and find available outlets. So what we've done with these reservoir drawdowns, we drop a little bit deeper so that fish can find a safe outlet to pass downstream.
Now, these drawdowns are the reason we're going to see like super low lake levels here coming up in the winter. But why were the lakes so low in the summertime? I've heard some people ask that question.
We're very dependent on Mother Nature to provide water during our refill season. And this year it dried up, and it dried up quickly. So we just weren't able to refill as high as we usually do because the water and rain just weren't there.
Now, I've been reading that these upcoming drawdowns are going to be different than the ones we've done in the past. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we continue to learn from these drawdowns through the research and monitoring and evaluation that we do. So under the injunction, we were held to a specific operation, but now that that injunction lawsuit has been lifted, we have a little more flexibility in how we shape these operations. Instead of implementing these drawdowns over the course of the summer, we're really trying to hold off and conduct these drawdowns in the November, December timeframe. When things have cooled off, when the reservoirs are cooler, we're also planning to hold the drawdowns for 2-week duration, whereas under the court order, we were held to holding for 30 days. So through that, we hope to shorten the duration of elevated turbidity while still providing the passage that we're looking for.
Now, you mentioned turbidity, which is that cloudiness or murkiness in the water once it leaves our dams, and it has affected some downstream communities and their drinking water filtration system. So are we going to adjust the way we do these drawdowns because of that new information that we got, that new data that we got from those towns?
I will say that we anticipate the shorter duration of these drawdowns to reduce the overall length of time that we may see elevated turbidity. We're also monitoring continuously both upstream and downstream of the reservoirs so that data is available to everyone that needs to look at it.
Lots of rumors out there about what's going on at these reservoirs. So is there any that you've heard more than others?
Yeah, a few that I've heard or seen in social media. One is that we are not conducting a drawdown at Green Peter this year. That's not true. We're planning reservoir drawdowns not only at Green Peter this year and in fall of 2025, but also Lookout Point, also Cougar, also Fall Creek. These drawdown operations are here to stay and would likely not go away until replaced by a structural solution.
What about a Detroit reservoir?
We are currently analyzing a drawdown at Detroit and engaging with the public through our NEPA process. Until that is complete, we will be holding off on a drawdown at Detroit. That'll be pushed off until at least next year, 2026.
The one I keep seeing is that the murky water is dangerous to drink. So is that true?
It is not. We have done quite a bit of sediment sampling in our reservoirs, not only for heavy metals, but also for contaminants. And I can tell you that the sediment is well below any dangerous levels of concern for any chemicals or heavy metals.
I know that's a big one. So what can people do if they want to get any information about these drawdowns or about what we're doing in the valley?
If in doubt, please contact Corps of Engineers. We have quite a few scientists and a heck of a lot of engineers that are there to answer any questions that the public may have. So please don't just believe what your neighbor says. If you have some questions and you would like the true answers and facts, we're always here. We're public servants and we're always here to help answer those questions.
Yeah, I'll throw our email and our phone number in the description down below if anyone wants to reach out with questions. But there's also a way for people to get involved in the formal process, right? So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, definitely with that supplemental EIS, that will be going out for public review. And so I encourage the public to review that document and provide comment. And we're here to listen.
All right, Kathryn, we've covered a lot and I really appreciate it. But is there anything else that you think people should know about what's going on in the Valley?
I would just say that the Corps takes our ESA obligations very seriously. We work with many regional partners to make sure that we're improving conditions for fish, but we always want to do so safely, and we always have the public's best interest in mind.
Right? That's something that I'm always trying to tell people. We work for the taxpayers. We're not building America's infrastructure because we think it'll be a good time. Thank you so much, Kathryn, for spending a little time with us.
Okay, take care.
If you want to learn more about the drawdowns or how the system works as a whole, or if you just want to get involved in the formal part of the process, if you want to have your voice heard about how we run the system in the Willamette Valley, I got all that information down below in the description of this video. That's it. Thanks for watching. Now, here is a series of screenshots that didn't make the cut as the thumbnail for this episode. For USACE Portland, I'm Luke Burns. Boy!